While a large percentage of the websites on the internet are considered safe to view for most people, there is always going to be a dark and bizarre side of the web. And when enough people are interested in the same weird or creepy topic, they will form groups or communities revolving around that subject. Some of these topics are either morally wrong, harmful to others, or just straight up creepy, and it's almost a surprise that they even exist in the first place. But that's what we're going to be having a look at today. So here are 5 incredibly disturbing communities on the internet. Number 1. Cannibal Cafe. The Cannibal Cafe was an online forum created in the mid-90s that catered to a very specific fetish, either people who wanted to eat other humans or people who wanted to be eaten by other humans. Members would log on to the website, describe what they were looking for, and wait for a response. However, most of these posts were nothing but a fantasy and were never really acted on. That is, until 2002, when Armin Meiwes, a computer technician and former user of the website, was arrested for eating a man named Bernd Brandis. A few months before the incident, Meiwes had posted an advertisement online stating that he was looking for a well-built 18 to 30-year-old to be slaughtered and then consumed. Brandis responded, and the two started emailing back and forth until they eventually met with each other on the 9th of March 2001. Brandis took 20 sleeping pills and the process began, starting with Meiwes amputating his penis. After this, Meiwes killed Brandis by slitting his throat. He then placed his body on a meat hook. The entire incident took around 4 hours and was recorded on a video camera that was set up prior to the incident. For the next 10 months, Armin Meiwes ate over 44 pounds of burnt flesh. In December of 2002, a college student alerted authorities about Armin Meiwes' online activity and they raided his house, finding both the body parts and the video camera. Originally, he was sentenced to manslaughter and was given an 8-year conviction because everything had been done consensually, but this was changed to life in prison when the videotape was considered, as it proved that Armin Meiwes had done this for sexual pleasure. It's unclear as to whether or not any other crimes like this have been connected to the Cannibal Cafe forum, but it's not surprising that the site was shut down soon after this trial. Similar forums like this have popped up in the past, but none have gained the same amount of popularity or notoriety as the Cannibal Cafe. Number 2. The Crushing Community. While there are a lot of strange sexual fetishes out there, most of them are at least harmless to other people or creatures. Unfortunately, that isn't always the case, and a disturbing example of this is a fetish that revolves around crushing. This can mean somebody being aroused by another person crushing an object, a piece of food, or even an insect with their foot. However, there is another area of the fetish called hard crushing that consists of killing smaller animals for sexual pleasure. The fetish lives almost exclusively on the internet and has various homes, from dedicated websites to subreddits. This activity was given much more attention when a YouTuber known as Boots Made for Crushing was discovered. As you can probably guess, the channel centered around the crushing fetish and at first glance seemed innocent enough as it mostly featured him stepping on small, plastic objects. However, the channel got gradually weirder as he started to post videos of him crushing on snails, cockroaches, and other insects. This was bad enough, but what made it worse was an alternate account he owned called Boots666, which was a channel dedicated to hard crushing. The videos could only be accessed through his Tumblr account, but were still viewed by numerous people and featured him crushing frogs, kittens, and other small animals. YouTube shut down his channel quickly after discovering this, but similar videos are still online and the fetish still has a small community to its name. Number 3. Columbiners. We have seen countless cases of serial killers or mass murderers being given a lot of attention by the media and garnering a lot of interest from the general public. This can be understandable as many people have a morbid curiosity about these topics, but it can become dangerous when that curiosity turns into an obsession. That's exactly what happened with the so-called Columbiners of Tumblr, an internet subculture that consists of numerous blogs dedicated to Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, the assailants responsible for the Columbine massacre of 1999, in which 13 people were killed and 24 others were injured. The case quickly became one of the most documented school shootings in history and gained widespread interest, mostly because of the actual incident, but partially because the killers documented their plans and preparations in a series of videos, recordings, and journal entries. While the so-called true crime community on Tumblr have often blurred the line between interest and obsession, it's their fanatical take on these two killers that makes them a disturbing and frightening community. On these blogs, users post pictures, GIFs, artwork, and fan fictions about the killers, and often sympathize, resonate, and relate to them. The group gained a large amount of media attention when 3 teenagers planned to shoot up a Canadian mall in 2015. Luckily, this didn't happen and 2 of the conspirators were arrested, but James Gamble shot and killed himself before the police arrived at his door. It was later discovered that they had all met on Tumblr and had disturbing blogs of their own. Gamble's blog was mostly dedicated to Nazi imagery and the Columbine killers, showing the type of mind state he and his friends were in around the time they planned this attack. While other copycat killings have occurred, it's unclear as to whether or not they followed these blogs, and many of the users on these blogs have stated that they do not condone murder. However, because of the way these killers are idolized and romanticized, it may not be that surprising to see more copycat killers come from these pages. Number 4 is the Bareback Exchange. The Bareback Exchange was an online forum that was most active between the years of 2007 and 2009. It was an outlet for homosexual men who were HIV positive to seek out various different partners who they could share the disease with. Now, this is obviously very strange, but at least it was consensual. However, other messages on the board showed a much more disturbing trend. And this was people who had transmitted the disease to a partner without telling them. They would then go on to this forum to brag about it. Because of this, the forum has a number of disturbing and concerning posts. In one post, a user talks about a method in which he gets a condom to break every time he's having sex, ensuring that he spreads whatever disease he's carrying at the time. In another post, a user talks about how he is strengthening his strain of HIV in order to effectively spread it. These disturbing posts are a dime a dozen, and while most of the so-called barebacking community are merely people who are interested in having sex without protection, a small percentage of them are looking to infect unsuspecting sexual partners with various different diseases. This particular forum has become much less active today, but this activity isn't going anywhere anytime soon. On various different online communities, you can see posts from users like this confessing to their various disturbing actions. Number 5. r/necrophilia. It's not that surprising that most of the communities featured on this list have been in some way, shape, or form related to sexual fetishes. Well, one of the most disturbing and notorious sexual fetishes out there is necrophilia, which is the sexual attraction to corpses. Although this may seem like a very specific and obscure fetish, this is the internet, so it's not that surprising that communities revolving around this fetish exist. Websites and forums for necrophiliacs are scattered across the web, but the most popular page for this activity is r/necrophilia, a subreddit that has a number of disturbing and bizarre posts. While the page is much less active than it used to be, it still managed to rack up over 1,000 subscribers and has an archive of posts from users talking about the fetish, with some even admitting that they have acted on their desires and have had sex with the corpse. The forum also includes images, videos, and more confessions from users. Users also post requests to either allow somebody to have sex with them while they pretend to be dead, or vice versa. This really only scratches the surface of the type of content that you can see on this forum or on other online communities that are similar to this, and it's fair to say that the more you look, the more disturbing this fetish becomes. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button. I try and make creepy videos like this every single week, so if you want to subscribe for that, you can. My Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, which is all DeBurk321, are linked down below, along with the footage, music used, and sources. But, like I said, that's all for now. As always, until next time.